Yes, this is a true and verified incident, whose main character is an American named Ricky Jackson. This story is not only known as the longest wrongful imprisonment in human history, but it also raises a serious question on the justice system. Here is the full story of this heartbreaking truth in Urdu. Reality beyond imagination. Just imagine spending your youth, manhood, and the beautiful years of your life in a narrow and dark prison cell based on just a lie. This is not a novel or a movie story, but rather the story of the longest wrongful imprisonment in the judicial history of America, whose main character is Ricky Jackson, a simple, innocent and quiet young man. The beginning of the tragedy. The year 1975. Ricky Jackson was only 18 years old. He lived in a modest neighborhood in the city of Cleveland, Ohio, USA. A very noble, family-loving young man whose life was filled with ordinary dreams. But suddenly his life was turned upside down. He was accused of killing a shopkeeper during an armed robbery. The tragedy was that there were no fingerprints against him, no murder weapon found, no eyewitnesses, only a child, Eddie Vernon, who was only 12 years old at the time. He told the police, "I saw Ricky shoot." That's it. This false testimony weighed heavily on his whole life. The sentence, death penalty. Ricky Jackson was sentenced to death. When the court pronounced the verdict, the young man, who had not yet seen the door of college, who had never tasted love or marriage, who had only just begun to understand life, he was put on death row. The death sentence was later commuted to life imprisonment, but the pain of the sentence did not lessen. Ricky was transferred to hundreds of prisons, fought against time, struggled with loneliness, and most importantly, without any crime. In total, he spent 43 years, or more than 15,000 days in prison. 2011. The truth comes out. Finally, in 2011, when Eddie Vernon was an adult, his conscience woke up, and he returned to court. He said, "I lied at the time. I didn't see Ricky Jackson killed. The police were pressuring me. I was only 12 years old." This confession was a shock to the court. 2014. Freedom Day. Finally, in 2014, the court found Ricky Jackson innocent and released him. After 43 years, he walked out of prison, with white hair on his head, a tired face, but a silent gratitude in his heart, and only this on his tongue: "I never held a grudge. If I hadn't forgiven, I would still be in prison, just in a different way." Justice. But too late. The state of Ohio awarded Ricky Jackson $1 million in damages. But can any wealth bring back 43 years of youth? Lesson: this story is not just about one man. This is about the judicial system, human rights, and it is also a mirror of the victory of truth. One lie and a whole life is ruined. It teaches us to speak the truth, to stand for justice, and not to bow to power. When trouble comes, it comes and breaks a person without telling them, without making a sound. How did Ricky Jackson know that a false accusation would take away his entire youth, his smile, his every dream? 43 years in prison, without any crime, just on one false testimony. That's why always, whenever you leave the house, pray to Allah. "Oh Allah, write ease for me. Protect me from the paths where my loss is hidden, and connect me with the good that I cannot even imagine, because we never know what is hidden at the next turn of life."